Hi, my name is Melissa, and I just wanted to tell you a quick story. So, I was in the grocery store a few weeks ago, just kind of in my head thinking as I picked up the things I needed. And I was thinking about my life this time last year. And I have this quote on my wall that says, "Don't fear failure, fear being in the exact same place you are next year as you are today," or something along those lines. And it's a quote that's really driven me this past year. And I was reflecting upon it because I had started to really be thankful for the negative relationships or the negative experiences that have happened in my life and how they've shaped me in a positive way. And as I was thinking about this time last year and where I was at in my life, I really reflected on the fact that I was in a really dark place and I didn't know how to be in relationships with people. I really didn't know how to look my bus driver in the eye. I didn't know how to have a simple conversation with the store clerk. And I didn't know how to be in relationships with friends and family. I avoided my family a lot in phone calls and avoided certain topics. And with friends, after spending time with them, I would go into panic attacks. And I really didn't know how to be with people. Every relationship, every interaction felt like I had to risk myself. And the dark thought around that time was if I didn't know, if I wasn't in relationships with people, if I couldn't figure out how to be in relationships with people, I really didn't know the point of living anymore. And it was a repetitive, neurotic thought that I just couldn't get out of my head. And it really scared me to the point where I needed to do something about it. And I I had all of this, and this I wasn't always like this, and I although I struggle with social anxiety on a very mild scale, I never felt this way. But 6 months previous to um, this time last year, so a year and a half ago, I ended an abusive relationship, and I wasn't angry. I was really angry at the end of that relationship, but I wasn't angry at my ex. I was angry at myself, really angry at myself. And I had so much energy with that anger that I put it to good use. I went to spin a lot to the point where I injured myself, but it really, honestly, at the time helped me to deal with all the anger that I had at myself because I couldn't believe that I had put myself through that. I allowed someone to speak to me like that. I allowed somebody to treat me that way and to make me feel unsafe, to make me feel less than human. And when I walked away from that relationship, and I'm thankful that I walked away from that relationship, and I broke, I realized I had broken trust with myself. And so I needed to build trust with myself. But I also needed to forgive myself. And that took a long time. It also, I also just didn't know how to be with people, like I said. And so it was really kind of nice to be alone for 6 months, but it got really dark, like I said. So I had to face some stuff. And one of the videos that I came across while I was trying to figure all this stuff out, because when you don't know the answer to something like, how do I gain self worth? Where does my confidence come from? How do I make my life better? It sucks right now. What can I do? You Google it. And I came across this really great series called Impact Theory. And Tom Bilyeu was interviewing this woman named Lisa Nichols. And she talked about what she needed to do after her abusive relationship and to get out of her depression. And she had this um, thing that she would do, her ritual in the mirror that she would do. She would go and stand in front of the mirror and she would say, "Lisa, I am proud of you for," and say 7 things that she was proud of herself for. And then she would go, "Lisa, I forgive you for," and say 7 things that she forgave herself for. And then she would say, "Lisa, I commit to you." And then she would say 7 things that she would commit to herself to. And I decided to put this into practice. And it actually came at an opportune time when I was having to face these relationship challenges. And it was really interesting to me because as I started to do this, I really gained confidence in myself. I recognized that even though I had allowed myself to be in an abusive relationship, there were moments that I could be proud of myself for. And one of them was walking away from the relationship. It was also, there were times that I did stand up for myself. And so I acknowledged those times and said other things that I was proud of myself for, like going to spin, because I was very scared of going to spin before and I was intimidated. But yet, after the relationship ended, my fear, my anger overrode my fear of spin class. So I just did it and I got it over with. And so I was really proud of myself for that. And then I had to forgive myself for things like being in the relationship, like allowing somebody to speak to me like that and to treat me like that. And I often had to repeat those pieces of forgiveness. I repeatedly forgave myself for being in an abusive relationship. And then I committed to myself things that I would do, things that I would put into place into my life that would regain that trust that I had, that I needed to have with myself. And it was incredibly impactful, not only to build the relationship and trust that I have with myself, but it allowed me to be strong enough to be in relationships and to feel safe enough within inside myself that I could risk being in relationships with other people. And this recently came up, as I mentioned, because I started to be really thankful for kind of the negative relationships or the negative circumstances that have happened in my life, but that have become positive for me. And a few months ago, I started really being thankful for the experience of going through an abusive relationship. And please don't get me wrong, I do not wish this upon my worst enemy, ever, ever, ever. And I would not encourage somebody to do this so that they reap some sort of benefits. But making lemonade out of lemons, I really saw how my life had changed and how I had changed because of that experience, because of my response to that experience. And life's going to throw you a number of experiences in your life that will break you. It's part of life. And to take those experiences and recognize that, yeah, you may be broken right now, but the benefit, and you're not going to see this when you're broken, but as you build yourself, as you build new habits, as you recover and you heal and you forgive yourself and you forgive others and you regain that trust with yourself, you pick up the pieces. You pick up the pieces that you love about yourself. You pick up the pieces that you forgot how much you cherished that about yourself and how much you valued that about yourself and those experiences and how they shaped you and how they made you the person that you are proud of yourself. And then you discard the ones that no longer serve you, the bad habits, the negative thoughts that no longer served you, and you create new habits, new ways of thinking, and new ways of being to create a better and more fuller you. The person that you've always wanted to become, the person that you've dreamed about becoming, you can now become. Now, you don't certainly need an experience that is one that breaks you to start becoming the person that you want to become. But what I recognize that it was almost a little easier. It was easier to break out of those habits because I had a moment where I was so angry. I was so angry. I had a chip on my shoulder that I needed to deal with. And I wasn't going to take any more crap from anybody. And that really helped me to engage with the disappointment that I had with my life, but also realize that it was in my domain. It was in my control to make the life that I wanted. Will Smith said something really profound to me, at least, is that he says, it may not have been your fault that someone hurt you, but it is your responsibility to heal yourself. Something along those lines. And I think that that is absolutely incredibly true. Life, again, is going to throw things at you all the time, but it is your responsibility to heal yourself. It is your responsibility to pick up those pieces, the ones that serve you, the ones that you value, and create yourself again after being broken. And it is your responsibility to heal yourself, to find new habits, new ways of seeing, to learn from those experiences, and create the person that you've always wanted to become. Now, I decided to do this video, this very imperfect video, because I know that around this time, people feel really dark, as I did. And life can feel really crappy around this time. And I just wanted to really encourage you that if you're feeling this way, 1 year can make a world of a difference. 1 year can show that you can be an entirely new and different person. And I just really want to encourage you that to take one day at a time, to pick up one piece at a time, just have one new thought at a time. Okay, good luck.